Once you hear these, you'll understand that people don't ignore you because they're jealous of you. Most of the time, they ignore you because you quietly teach them how to treat you through your behavior. In this video, I'll show you 10 subtle things you do subconsciously that make people lose interest, lose respect, and eventually start ignoring you. If you want to be taken seriously, listen closely. Hit subscribe. Let's begin. 1. You over-explain simple points. When you take a simple idea and stretch it into a long explanation, people don't see you as helpful. They see you as unsure. Over-explaining subconsciously signals insecurity. It sounds like you're asking for validation instead of stating facts. Confident people say what needs to be said, then stop. Insecure people keep talking, hoping their point will finally land. Clear people are respected, decisive people are remembered. Confused people get ignored, not out of cruelty, but because the human brain tunes out uncertainty. Say it once, say it clean. If someone needs more, they'll ask. Unless that, stay quiet. 2. You have no will of your own. You go along with whatever others want. Where to go, what to do, when to speak. You say anything is fine so often that eventually people stop asking what you think. At first it looks like flexibility, but over time it feels like absence. People don't ignore you because you're easygoing. They ignore you because there's nothing to respond to. A person with no preferences creates no friction, and without friction there's no presence. Having an opinion doesn't make you difficult. It makes you visible. You don't need to argue. You don't need to dominate. You simply need to choose. To state what you want calmly and stand there. Because people don't respect someone who agrees with everything. They respect someone who stands for something. 3. You act like you know a lot. You speak with confidence on topics you barely understand. You sound certain, but only on the surface. And the moment the conversation goes deeper, you can't follow. That's when respect quietly leaves the room. False certainty is loud. Real knowledge is calm, precise, and measured. People may not challenge you directly, but they feel the gap. And once they sense it, they stop taking your words seriously. There's nothing wrong with not knowing. The problem is pretending you do. The most respected people aren't the ones who talk the most. They're the ones who speak only when they have substance. Say less, learn more, let depth, not volume, give your words weight. 4. You downplay good news about yourself. When something good happens and you immediately say, it's not a big deal, or anyone could have done it, you think you're being humble. But what you're really doing is teaching people how seriously to take you. People don't decide your value on their own. They mirror the energy you attach to your wins. If you treat your progress like it's nothing, others will too. Not because they dislike you, but because you gave them permission. Real confidence doesn't mean bragging. It means allowing your wins to exist without apologizing for them. You don't need to exaggerate. You don't need to explain. You just acknowledge it and move on. And when you respect your own wins, people follow your lead. 5. You laugh even when it's not funny. Not because something is actually hilarious, but because silence feels uncomfortable. That nervous laugh is a social reflex, a way of saying, please don't judge me, but people sense it immediately. When you laugh to fill space, it signals that you're uneasy with stillness. And the person who isn't comfortable with silence is rarely seen as grounded. Real presence doesn't rush to smooth every moment. It allows pauses. It allows neutral reactions. You don't have to laugh to be liked. You don't have to smile to be safe. Sometimes, a calm face and steady eye contact carry more weight than forced humor ever could. And slowly, without anyone saying it out loud, respect drops. 6. You keep the conversation alive alone. You're asking the questions, you're adding the energy, you're filling the gaps. Meanwhile, they reply with one word. At that point, it's no longer a conversation, it's a performance. When you carry the entire exchange, you silently communicate that your attention is free, which is very dangerous. People value what requires effort from them. If someone doesn't invest, and you keep pushing anyway, the imbalance becomes obvious. Strong communicators notice disengagement and adjust. They don't chase reactions. They don't beg for momentum. Sometimes the most powerful move isn't another question. It's letting the silence expose the truth. If someone wants to talk to you, they'll meet you halfway. If they don't, walking away protects your presence. And presence, once protected, stops being ignored. 7. You apologize for things that aren't your fault. Sorry for bothering you. Sorry for asking. Sorry for talking. Each unnecessary apology quietly lowers your presence. Apologies are meant for mistakes, not for existing. When you overuse them, you frame yourself as an inconvenience, and people absorb that framing fast. Confident people don't remove themselves before anyone asks them to. They speak without guilt. They ask without shrinking. Respect doesn't come from being endlessly polite. It comes from being appropriately grounded. Stop apologizing for taking up space. The moment you do, others stop overlooking you. 8. You wait for permission to speak. You hesitate. You look around. You mentally rehearse. And by the time you finally speak, the moment is already gone. Waiting for permission signals uncertainty. It tells people you don't fully believe your voice belongs in the room. Confident presence doesn't interrupt, but it also doesn't wait to be invited. The people who are heard don't rush, and they don't freeze. They enter conversations naturally, as if their contribution is expected. When you delay too long, others fill the space. And once that space is taken, your words lose impact, even if they're good. Speak when the thought is alive, not after it expires. Because attention rewards timing, and hesitation makes you invisible. 9. You explain yourself even when no one asked. You give one reason, then you add another, then another, just in case. But the moment you start stacking explanations, it stops sounding like communication and starts sounding like defense. People who feel secure don't rush to justify themselves. They assume their words are enough. Over-explaining unprompted tells others you're worried about being misunderstood, or worse, not accepted. And here's the subtle shift that happens. Instead of listening to what you're saying, people start wondering why you're trying so hard. Calm confidence needs no backup arguments. If someone wants clarification, they'll ask. Say your piece. Pause. Let silence do the work. Because the person who doesn't need to explain themselves is rarely ignored. 10. You react too fast to everything. Every comment gets an immediate response. Every joke gets a laugh. Every opinion gets a reaction. And that speed makes you predictable. When people know exactly how you'll respond, your presence loses tension. There's no mystery, no weight. Power isn't loud. It's controlled. The most respected people don't rush to react. They pause, observe, and choose. That pause creates gravity. It forces others to lean in. Restraint signals confidence. It tells the room you're not emotionally pulled by everything around you. Slow your reactions. Let moments breathe, because presence isn't about being everywhere at once. It's about knowing when not to move. If you learned something from this video, share it and consider subscribing to the channel, because I share videos on how to improve yourself and relationships with other people. I'll see you in my next post.